Welcome. I am Anna Scatoni, and this is a culmination of a lot of work that Rusty and I have been doing this entire school year. So here we go. So I'm going to step through the what, why, who, where, and how in case you missed any of our webinars from the fall semester, and I'm going to pick out just the most important answers to these questions for faculty that might just be getting interested in opening a course or want to open a course that they have no clue how to start with OER, and also just more details from faculty within SMWC as well. So there's a big definition of what open educational resources are, and I've decided to redact a bunch of things and then highlight what I think is most important. So we like the words free and fair as Americans in general, and that's definitely the case with OER. So the main concept of OER is to reduce the cost of college for students. And an easy way to do that is to not make them pay for textbooks. So OER are always free. And then the fair is the fair use for educational purposes. And that is specifically applied through the Creative Commons licensing, which are depicted in the photo in the bottom middle of this slide. So remixing and reuse get discussed in OER a lot as well. So the great thing about OER is that it comes in all forms and material types and mediums. So modules, textbooks, streaming videos, test software, all sorts of tools can be remixed, recombined, reused, and that can become a textbook for your course. It doesn't have to just be one OER textbook that you wholesale get behind, because, you know, that would probably not really truly match your own individual teaching style and techniques and theories that you support, and you don't have to do that. And that's the great thing about OER. You can not use all of an OER if you don't want to. And why implement OER? So the thing about these 3 points is they're a bit obvious, but I just don't think they can be overstated, because if we get into the weeds and adopting OER becomes more time consuming or difficult, you might be tempted to give up and not continue. But these reasons are incredibly important. So it's good for the institution as a whole, of course. Small liberal arts colleges such as ours, the students that attend our institutions feel the burden of cost much more than many other institutions, as well as retention is critically important to us. There's a lot of literature about OER that says, you know, if a student has access to their course material right off the bat and they don't have to wait for it to come in and wait for their financial aid to pay for it, and they don't have it until the second week of school, they're much more likely to score well and do well in your courses, especially those first year gen ed courses. And therefore, they're more likely to be retained into the sophomore year and beyond. So we have full support from the provost and the general education committee for our push for OER here at the Woods. Those equivalent or improved learning outcomes from the Good for Students tab, as I mentioned, you can just have OER embedded in your Canvas course shell from day one, and you will be good to go. I have just a email. And then OER is good for use. So you, of course, can add any OER adoption and adaptation and definitely creation to your personal scholarship and CV. And there's support for you monetarily from PALNI and various grants that they sponsor that I'll get into more here in a second. Who are the OER Campus Advocates? So we are lucky and blessed that faculty from every division at SMWC are already working with OER, adapting and creating their own. So, of course, Dr. Tryon, the library director, he is an OER advocate, as well as he uses it in his Woods Core courses that he teaches. And then Dr. Selby, an assistant professor of theology, also in the Division of Arts and Social Sciences, uses it. I'll also note that it is picking up steam in psychology and the music department. So those are a couple of other areas where we have faculty committed to adopting OER, as well as sociology. So be on the lookout for those courses opening next school year, as we call it when someone uses a free textbook instead of a paid one. And then the Division of Business and Leadership has been an OER leader division superstar on campus, probably the longest. Dr. Lacomba, Dr. McCracken, and Dr. Mitchell all have participated in, I believe, multiple OER grants from PALNI, and they have great information to pass along, and you should definitely reach out. And of course, they're all leadership experts in themselves, so they can help lead you and guide you in your OER adoption. And then for the Division of Nursing and Sciences, Grant Steelman in biology, Dr. Vandermolen in math. Typically, there's some difficulty in math because of the reliance on question banks. And so that can be a tough one, but we're working towards it. And Dr. Grossman is also committing to opening his course, his Woods Core course, for next school year. And then we're also going to have the Intro to Chemistry open next year as well. So those are some of our new recruits that we're really excited to have joined our grant this year. And they've received stipends and they've signed commitments that they're going to work between now, of course, most definitely through the summer, and then into the fall if their courses in the spring next year on compiling and remixing OER to make their course materials free in the coming school year. These are highlight wonderful statements that fellow faculty have given me from their experience. So we have PalSave OER Textbook Reviewer Grant is a great way to start immersing with OER. And then keeping in mind that while using OER, you do not have to limit to one textbook or one OER resource. As I was mentioning before, you can use multiple resources, and then also leaning into your own academic freedom and really using that to shine on your CV, of course, and in any tenure reviews, anything like that. Really, you lean into OER as an opportunity to further your own scholarship and toot your own horn, because this is great work that is really become more widespread. There was definitely a certain leeriness about it 5 or so years ago, but definitely it has really spread nationwide and been supported in many states and many university consortiums. Really think that OER work is great, and I want to note here that it shows that you're engaging in the new realm of AI space that we're living in, and the gray by writing and adding more that you are qualified to do, and you're working to get it Creative Commons licensed, and you've done it in the way that has existed pre-AI. However, is still free, so you can note when you are remixing and compiling and creating your own OER that you're providing more quality material and information, but also still a free alternative for students to reference, and kind of continue that. Okay, AI is not the end all be all. Then another faculty member has noted that PALNI in the program that they had a grant for was helpful for guiding them to OER repositories and also providing criteria to evaluate OER. So if you're not sure what course you'd like to open or focus on, the OER reviewer grant that's referenced here is a great thing, because you'll get to see what another faculty has very recently been working on, and you'll be given criteria from PALNI to see and step you through specifics on how to evaluate it. And then you'll have an idea of, okay, if this is the criteria and these are the steps to show the legitimacy and the quality, then you can then, be aware of those and apply those in your own work for your own remixing and reusing. And then, of course, it's very straightforward, but at the bottom here, finding several options for open textbooks and compared that to your previously used normal paid text. That's my first step when meeting with faculty one-on-one, is I ask, I have, of course, can see what text you've been using, your traditional text, and then I'll ask you, what are the most important things that you really want to see almost an exact replica of, and you feel like you can't do your course without these cornerstone aspects of your traditional text. And then I'll really work very hard to find those for you, and those can still be cornerstones. And we could replace maybe a chapter that you think is critical with a very similar open chapter or open article or open video. And that can kind of get you started and build the basic skeleton for you. And you can go from there. So where can you find support for OER? So on campus, if you're more of an in-person learner or person, Rusty is always there to support and champion OER. He does it regularly in the Gen Ed committee and with the provost, and then like on the large scale, but he's happy to meet individually with faculty as well. I am always here to offer virtual support for faculty and meet with you one-on-one via Zoom or just emailing back and forth. We have an OER LibGuide that I highly suggest you take a look through. it has links to the OER repositories, the meta finders, where you can just type in your subject or your course name and see all the different things that are there, but it also has OER by discipline, which I suggest you see and look at both and then compare what you find. And then maybe after you spend some time on the LibGuide, you have further questions, and then you and I can meet again, or you can just email those questions. So this is, like I mentioned, the capstone webinar of this school year, of course, but our grant time frame continues into the summer, and then our faculty that have committed to our grant are going to be implementing their OER free materials in their courses next year. So Rusty and I are planning to continue and are happy to continue consultations with any faculty for the foreseeable future. And on the right side of this, we have PalSave, which is the open specific branch of PALNI. And they work tirelessly to support faculty implementation and work in OER. So they have workshops, the review stipends, or stipends for OER reviewing, which I mentioned is a great first step to look at how other people are engaging with OER and making OER and seeing the criteria. And then if you want to go all in, but you missed our grant opening window, or you don't have a Woods Core course, then we recommend the course redesign grant and the OER textbook creation grant. If you have a very specific assignment and you're interested in maybe not a whole course, but just one specific creative idea, I also suggest looking into the Open Pedagogy Assignment Grant. And I also want to note that PALNI has a great LibGuide for OER that steps through the different grants, workshops, stipends available, as well as the reasons why OER is great, how it's helped students across the state of Indiana, and so you can see colleagues from other institutions and what they have done OER related as well. So this is something I remixed and reused from the PALNI LibGuide, I believe. So of course you're going to need time. I think sometimes people are afraid of the time commitment with OER, but really, truly, Rusty, myself, all the faculty advocates are here to help you. It's can be like a writer's block situation, honestly, is all that it is. Don't let the enormity of it stop you from doing it. Eat the elephant one bit at a time. Compare to your current text, like we also stated, and then locate. This says an OER text. I say find 3 to 5 and see what are most similar, and then see if you can remix and reuse those 3 to 5 that you like. And that kind of goes into step 4 if you have videos or those question banks, test banks that you're used to, see if those are on open repositories, as well as step 5 there. And then basically you're an OER champion. And it might seem daunting, but all of you are more than capable. So to connect with me, here you are. There's my email. Like I said, I am more than happy to meet virtually anytime. Rusty can meet in person as well as virtually. And let's see, I'm gonna stop sharing. And here we are. So, I'm really grateful for everyone that's been able to join us this afternoon. We have a few minutes left here. I know that was really quick. Let me check the chat. Oh, yes. Wonderful. Keela and Rusty put the links to the libguides that I referenced in the chat. And if y'all have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat or just unmute and ask away. Lori, I'm glad that you're here. I want to give you a shout out. She's doing great OER book with a grant from PALNI right now and collaborating with faculty across multiple institutions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are there tips and tricks on your search terms?
Oh,
Or, I mean, are things to consider on how many words, one word, two words? I mean,
it depends on the repository. If you're on one of the meta finders, like the Mason OER meta finder or the MOM, and then there's Merlot from California State System. I would say start with whatever you intuitively are wanting to find and see what you get, and then make adjustments from there. And because, like I said, it really just depends on which repository you're looking in. And
mhm.
I'd definitely be happy to email with you the specifics on those.
Okay. Because I've been told that there are some sports related resources and I have yet to find any.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, I don't know what other word to put other than sport or sports or
Okay. What course?
maybe physical education.
Yes. And that can be a case where maybe you want to look for um, something more specific or like a portion of like, okay, I have this. This is my favorite chapter of the traditional text I'm using, and it's specifically about this aspect of sport. So I'll use like the keyword from this chapter title. I would suggest trying that and see if you find things that way. But
Okay.
more than happy to email and then consult individually on that one. Very good question.
All right.
And then also, thank you, Kathy, for finding us and joining. Kathy and I just met yesterday for an individual consultation on her Woods Core courses that she's committed to. So she's jumping in, and Rusty and I are really grateful for that. And I think we're coming up on 12:30. This is great. Thank you all very much